Steve. She's her own bubble butt boyfriend, Billy. You're evil. Crazy slack. She watched her mom get butchered. Where do you get this shit? You are pathetic.
Get ready to join Nancy Ann Ritter, aka Nar, as she and Jar Jar Jeremy try to face their fears of all things horror. Along with their guru of gore, Kevin Crooksy, they will watch and give their critiques of some of the best the horror genre has to offer. Will they succeed? Find out on the re-education of Nancy Ann Ritter. Hey, welcome to the very first episode of the re-education of Nancy Ann Ritter, aka NAR. Oh my God, I'm Jar Jar Jeremy, and for this first episode, I'll be joined every episode with my faithful friend Crooksy and my other wonderful muse, Nar. Yay!
Hello, Jar, and Kevin, Crooksy. I'm so honored to get to be with you guys.
Oh, it's so great to have you, Nancy. Nar, now, first, let's talk about what the show's going to be about. Now, I met Nar last year, right around this time, actually. And we were at a con together, and I had found out that Nar was not so much into watching horror films and horror flicks, although she was at a horror con. And I found this intriguing because I myself I'm not a huge horror fan, and I was also at a horror con moderating tons of panels. So I thought, hey, wouldn't it be a great idea to re-educate Nar in the whole horror ways, and I can actually, by doing that, educate myself into the horror ways. And the re-education of Nancy Ann Ritter was born. And my friend Kevin Crooksy, who I really needed to do this show because the brains, I'm just a pretty face.
Tell me about it. Blah, 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 boom.
You are Jar Jar. You are. And very handsome.
So this first week, we all sat back and we watched The Shining, right?
Yes.
All right. Fantastic. So, Kevin, how about you give us a little synopsis of the movie, and then we'll move along.
Sure. Yeah. So The Shining came out in 1980, directed by Stanley Kubrick. Synopsis is: a family heads to an isolated hotel for the winter where a sinister presence influences the father into violence. While his psychic son sees horrific foreboding from both past and future. So that's a pretty summed down synopsis. This movie's fairly long. And, there's a lot to it. And this is based off of a Stephen King novel. Little known fact: Stephen King didn't like the movie.
Yeah, I found that out afterwards.
He's grown to respect it, but he absolutely hated it when it first came out.
Well, now it's kind of like part of movie history. At this point in time, it would be kind of like hating E.T. or something like that.
Right.
It's like you just can't do it.
Right.
Someone had meant, was it you? It might have been you, now, Kevin, do you want me to call you Crooksy? Wait.
If you'd like.
That's
how Jeremy told me how to spell.
That's my fault.
It says Crooksky.
Yep.
So I'll say Crooksky.
Okay.
No, is that what you want, though?
I don't care anyway, as long as you're whatever. I'm fine.
What Jar Jar? Is that what you're going to say?
No,
Crooksy?
I'm going to call him Crooksky.
Okay.
I know I'm screwing myself up with it now. I've totally made up the name for him, and now I can't even say it.
Well,
Yeah.
Crooksky, you say that, and someone did tell me, a friend, when I told them I had watched The Shining for the show, had said, okay, no, it's based on, oh no, I was about to really ask a dumb question. Was Jack Nicholson's character, because I haven't read the book, was he described physically different looking in the book than
Yeah,
who?
I think for the
Okay,
most part, there was a lot of differences, and that's why Stephen King didn't like it.
yeah,
He changed a lot.
yeah, yeah.
And well, Stanley Kubrick. I don't know if you're a fan of any other Stanley Kubrick movies, but he takes his time. He has like a method to his madness kind of deal.
Yeah.
But are you familiar with any of his other work?
He did a Clockwork Orange, and that's wait. Let's see. Okay, I've seen that.
Look at
I've seen
you.
that one. Did he do?
You're
the
better than
first,
me.
Did he do the first Lolita?
I don't believe so.
Check it.
I could be completely wrong.
Okay,
So
do you want me to check it on my phone?
Sure, yeah. He did Full Metal Jacket as well. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I haven't seen Full Metal Jacket. Okay, let's see.
It's crazy.
Oh, Full Metal Jacket is
Which I know I would
fantastic.
love.
I would
Wait, are you
recommend
annoyed
that
that I'm looking this up?
No.
Oh no, not at all.
Because
No,
now
this is
it's gonna drive
perfect
me
time for it.
crazy. It's gonna drive me crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can always snip out stuff if need be.
Now, Kevin, you were telling me that Kubrick made some of the scenes had 137 takes.
Yeah, I wanted to get into that afterwards, but if you want me to do some.
Oh, I was going to ask Nancy, how many takes? How many takes before you quit?
Yeah.
Like at 100 takes, I would have been like,
Oh no, I would.
No.
Okay, I pulled up Lolita. This is gonna drive. Is it okay that I'm looking this up?
No, it's fine.
Is it
Stanley Kubrick.
Okay, so I haven't seen all of his stuff.
So I only because I didn't want you all to think. I didn't want Crooksy and Jar Jar to think that I'm dumb, and I didn't want
Oh,
the
not at all.
public to think that I'm dumb in film. I still have a lot of films to see, but so of the Kubrick films I've seen, Lolita with James Mason and Shelley Winters, The Shining,
Mhm.
and then The Clockwork Orange. I haven't seen Full Metal Jacket. I didn't see Eyes Wide Shut with Tom Cruise and Nicole
That was
Kidman
his last movie before he passed.
before he died. Okay, and then what other movies? Name some
Eyes
of
Wide
his
Shut.
others.
That was the. Or no, I'm thinking of something.
That was with
else.
Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, and it was like a sex party kind of.
Okay, it was the one I was thinking.
I know. I would have loved going to the sex party.
I was
What
like,
other-
isn't
this
that
is in-
some kind of swinger thing?
He did 2001: A Space Odyssey as well, and I already talked to Jar, and I haven't seen it. I want to. He did Doctor Strangelove.
Okay, I didn't see that.
But yeah, that's a. Looks like he did a Spartacus movie back in 1960.
Spartacus.
Spartacus. I don't know if it's that one.
I'm Spartacus.
Oh, it is.
I'm
It's Lee Curtis.
So
Right?
he did Spartacus. Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't know
with
that.
Kirk Douglas. I was saying Tony Curtis because my eyes don't work. But yeah, he's done some pretty insane movies, and I'll get into it after we talk about the movie a little bit about what he put some of his actors through in the making of this movie. But
I will say, because you Jar Jar and now Crooksy brought it up, I love being. I'm allowed to be raunchy and dirty, right?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. This is your show, Nar. You get to do what.
It's our show.
Absolutely, but
show.
like you pretty much make up the rules. Like,
okay. Well, I just personally, I know everyone, even though I had a physically abusive ex-husband, I'm not trying to beat that bell or bang the drum over and over again. But so people might find I love being ridden hard in the bed, but by a director. I personally love it. So if a director made
so you need more of that, like telling you all the time, let's go, Nar.
Like I would love, of course I wasn't on that set, and I know, from what I've read and what I've heard about what he did to Shelley Duvall. So I can't know if I were in her shoes obviously I wasn't in her shoes, so I can't know, but I know I like being pushed to an extremist level, and I like a director to I've been acting, since I was 9. So I really like tough love directors. I like being pushed to the brink myself to see what I'm capable of.
Mhm.
And I went to a really I mean, I don't want to get off topic of The Shining, but
Oh,
going
no.
to Duke Ellington School of the Arts, like my my acting teachers were amazing, but they were brutal, like just brutally honest. And so for me, and then my acting teacher at Northwestern University, and then different directors I worked with, I just work much better because I'm always trying to get better and better as an actor every day. And I know, I mean, there's still so much more for me to learn. And I've, you guys know, I've done a few independent films just within the
Yep.
last year. And each one that I do, I feel so comfortable on stage. So for me, camera is such a fun new challenge that I I would have been curious to be in a Stanley Kubrick film, or I think I've heard David Fincher drives his actors hard, and that he, well, what I heard was that he put Rooney Mara through a lot with Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I don't know if I'm getting that title right. Girl with the Dragon, you know the one I'm talking about.
Yep.
Yeah. So I personally love that, but again, I wasn't on the set of The Shining, but there was something I was going to say. But like what, again, I'm not trying to bring up my few little things, but like
Oh, you should.
When I did Scream, Wes Craven came into the bathroom, and I so many people have already heard this, but when they were trying to do the close-ups, he came into the bathroom and he goes, Nancy, he knew I'd come from theater, and he knew Scream was the first movie, and he goes, "You look grotesque." He said, "It looks like you're playing to a Broadway theater of 1,000 people." And he wasn't being mean at all, but he said it with a smirk. He's like, "It looks like you're playing to a Broadway theater of 1,000 people." And he just kept saying, "Shave it, shave it, shave it." I know that's not what we're referring to with Kubrick, but with Stanley Kubrick, but yeah, I like being pushed to the extremes personally. And this probably sounds really bad or selfish to say, but I thought her performance was amazing, Shelley Duvall.
Mhm.
Now I feel badly if it really
Oh,
it
yeah.
affected her. It definitely
caused.
Yeah.
I feel very badly for. Selfishly, he got a great performance.
Right.
Yeah, no,
But
exactly.
if it's
That's
to the
what we were.
detriment of her health and long-term health down the road, and affected her as a person, then that I'm of course very sorry for her.
Yeah.
But
The
she
good thing,
herself,
she did have a bit of a career after. I mean, she did a lot of stuff for like HBO, like kids shows and stuff like that. Like she had like a storytelling show. I forget what it was called exactly, but yeah. So she did have a good career for a little bit, and then she just decided to step away, and just be like, I'm done. Like I'm mentally done. So. But I agree. I think she's phenomenal in this. And to be honest with you, I can't think of any other movie that she's been in that I think I would say that about, honestly.
Yeah,
the only other one I had seen, well, before you all assigned me to watch The Shining, which I had always been wanting to watch, the only other film I'd seen with her was Popeye, and I thought she was the perfect olive oil. When I had read the comics, and imagined what olive oil looked like, or well, I know the cartoon, you could see what she looked like, but then when
she did have the perfect physique
God.
for, she was all wiry and just,
I mean,
she's good, but I despise that movie.
Popeye. I've only seen it once, and it was so long ago. I just remember I was just like, oh my God, it's olive oil.
I was excited to see it because I was a fan of the cartoon. I was a fan of the comic strip, and then I saw it like, what? Anyways,
is it really bad? Like I so don't.
It's uncomfortably bad for me.
I wouldn't recommend watching it again as an adult.
But yeah, so you want to get into The Shining a bit? Like,
absolutely.
You started off Jar Jar.
All right. Well, it was probably my second or third viewing of it. It was intense from beginning to end. I enjoyed the kid. Oh my God, I'm losing his name right now. Danny, yeah, that kid had some moments in that movie where I was just like, how did he make it
Mhm.
out alive?
Yeah.
Like,
No, he was treated completely different than like other people on the set
oh, I'm
for
sure.
Um,
Like
also
between
too,
takes.
he didn't really have much a career after this. He's a like a college professor now.
Oh,
Um,
really?
he still does horror cons from time to time. I met him at Scarecon New England a couple years back.
Oh,
No
nice.
way.
He's a very nice guy too. And also the two twin girls, they do cons as well. So you may come across them in your future con.
Oh, actually, how was your con this past
In
weekend?
my con career,
Yeah.
in
How was Reno?
in Reno, well, it was super fun just to see the little bit of it that I saw because it was a 1 day show, but I loved seeing Reno. And then it was called Silver Age Comic Con, and it was actually we were the only horror duo,
Oh, really?
or because it was all the actor who played the Predator in Predator, and then I don't have all the names right at the top of my head, but a really wonderful stunt man who's done a lot of, and an actor in a bunch of, he played Andor in Star Wars, and
Oh, nice.
different actor I'm talking about, but it was AJ Buckley,
Mhm.
the very first Captain America, Reb Brown.
Yep.
Wish I had my program with me, but so it was all big time Comic Con people.
Mhm.
But I was really pleased with the fans came out for the Bathroom Girls, so it was
Of course they did.
a really nice show. And there was one fan who I hate saying that word fan, um, but a lot of Scream lovers, and a nice guy who drove from Boise, 6 hours from Boise to Reno. And I was just quite astounded by that.
We call those people stalkers. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
Just fans.
No, but he was just, I knew he was coming ahead of time, and he was just so, that always, when someone, a fan does that, one fan for Fayetteville Comic Con, he'd driven 12 hours and
Wow.
up and back, I think, in the same day. The nice guy Kent, who came to Reno, stayed in the Atlantis, so he made where the convention was the Atlantis Hotel and Resort Casino. But no, it was really fun time. They had a really nice, we did a panel with a company called Distance Nerding, I guess a takeoff on distance learning. And there it was two guys called Distance Nerding, and that was a fun little panel that we did. And yeah, it was well attended, and
Nice.
really fun. It went by really quickly, went by so fast. But yeah, it was really fun just to meet. Always my favorite part, of course, is just meeting the fans and all the different ages of the Scream fans that are out there, from little ones to big ones, and people who come as families. And yeah, it was super fun. I think I was in the air more than I was on the ground. In the air more, getting to Reno.
Oh, okay. I was like, how'd
So
that happen?
Just like
but no, it was so
Yeah,
fun.
fans
And
were just picking her up, throwing her. Ah.
I was
they're
levitating.
so happy. They're so happy to meet you.
I will say the slot machines are so exciting. Like I could really become an
Oh, yeah.
addicted
You sound like my wife.
slot
Ooh.
machines. I love pulling that lever.
Oh,
So yeah, but it was very fun. So thank you for asking.
That's good. No, it's great.
oh no, that's exciting.
So, like you said, the time goes by too quick, and that's because you're having a good time. If it was like,
Yeah.
oh, it just dragged on forever and ever, that meant that it was not a good show. So
That's right.
that's good.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's great.
You sat there for
yeah,
hours.
yeah.
People just straggled by. Tumbleweed.
Tumbleweeds.
So one thing you mentioned, like from the very start, this that The Shining was suspenseful. One thing I don't know if you guys agree with me, but music is a big part of that. And one
I
thing I
always
didn't
find,
realize-
yeah, if the music doesn't fit for a movie, it can take you right out. And this had a great score.
Oh,
Yep. So the tune that's in the very beginning when they're driving and whatever, they're that same tune is used in the beginning of Clockwork Orange. I didn't
Oh, no
realize
kidding.
that. Never. It was like kind of mixed in differently, but it's the same melody and everything. And I was watching a video and they explained, I'm like, what? I've never realized that. So that's pretty awesome.
That's
And
pretty.
I'm gonna have to go listen. I saw Clockwork Orange maybe as an adult and adult.
I haven't seen it as an adult. I've seen it as a teenage adult. Lots of drugs were involved.
But now I'm gonna have to go because it's so long ago with Clockwork Orange. That's so fascinating that he used the same melody.
It's like having a multiverse in his own.
There's a couple of really cool like musical parts that I learned about today that I didn't realize was a thing. We can get into that later, but so that's another person who you may run into at cons is Malcolm McDowell. Does a lot of cons as well. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. He's a good good guy too. He's funny. Like I don't know. He's a good dude. I've always had good interactions with him. So I respect him as an actor and as a person. So, but anyways. So you want to just do like the rundown through the movie? You want to go through areas that you think maybe worth talking about, or what do you think?
That's a good question. I really wish I had thought about this.
Well, I will say, I was just going to say really quickly that music, that opening is to me, that opening is as amazing as the Rosemary's Baby opening.
Yes.
Both of those, when I was watching The Shining, that opening, I was reminded, even though it's totally different from what Roman Polanski's opening was with Rosemary's Baby, I just thought that Shining opening is just so terrifying, and the music or just sets the tone and is very terrifying, and just the
dread right away.
Dread and the camera work over the treetops and the winding road and seeing the car driving up the very foreboding, and just such a great opening. And as I was watching it, I was reminded of Rosemary's Baby.
And you very quickly get to learn, you understand how isolated they really are.
Yeah. I was reminded of Dirty Dancing for some reason.
Wait, are you serious?
The hotel from Dirty Dancing. The hotel from Dirty Dancing. I don't even know why.
That is hilarious. Okay, Jar Jar, that is hilarious.
I have some weird connections, Sorry, my brain goes.
I was hoping that Shelley Duvall was going to jump at the Jack song.
Yeah.
Like,
and
nobody puts Shelley in the corner.
Yeah, well, Stanley Kubrick did, but but yeah, I don't know. So so basically, it's a family, a very small family, just a husband, wife, and a son that they're basically being like caretakers for this ski lodge, well, not a ski lodge, but a resort that is closed down in the winter, and it gets pretty desolate. And there's some hints at some things going on in the movie.
Seems like the perfect job, mind you.
Totally. But
I'm writing down two things I want to remember to tell you, not right this moment.
There are a few like little weird things that there's a lot of theories when it comes to this movie. There's like a lot of theories of what it actually is about, and theories about like there's some stuff going around like later on in the movie, like there's suspicion that Jack Torrance assaults his own son, kind of deal.
Yep.
When he's actually in the lobby waiting to get the walkthrough and everything, he's sitting in a chair and he's reading a magazine. He's reading a Playgirl magazine, not a Playboy, a Playgirl magazine, and the cover story is about incest.
Oh, no kidding.
It's a real issue of Playgirl magazine. Yeah.
In the movie, that's a detail. Can you tell as an audience member that's what he's reading?
Well, that's the thing is Stanley kind of messes with people throughout. So like there's a lot of things where like there'll be a shot and then there'll be like a table and a chair in the background, and then it'll cut to Shelley Duvall and it'll go back to him, and that table and chair is now gone. But it's not a continuity thing. It's like on purpose.
No way.
It's like I don't know if it's something where he's using it to make people more uncomfortable and then just subconsciously being more uncomfortable or what. But there's a lot of like weird stuff. Like there's like satanic stuff buried in there. There's like a lot of Native American stuff buried in there. There was rumor that the movie was actually about the like a Indian genocide. There's even reference to like when they built the hotel that they still have to fight off some Indians and stuff like that. There's a lot of Indian artwork in the place. There's like at one point Shelley Duvall's wearing a coat and it's like Indian designs on it. There's like a can of like, I don't know if it's coffee or something like that keeps showing up in the background throughout the movie, and it's got an Indian on it. A lot of these little weird things that I've never realized until I watched these documentaries just in the last week. So it's a lot of stuff that makes me want to go back and watch it all over again and look for some of this stuff.
Yeah, now I'm kind of like, son of a bitch.
Yeah,
I know. I'm like, let's
so
watch it. Let's group watch it.
There was even this one where like Jack is like very upset. He keeps like kind of like lashing out a little bit as he's walking down a hallway, but the only time he does it is when he's passing a mirror. And so there's things in the movie that have to do with a mirror as well. Like there's other little things,
kind of like his other side of other universe, kind of.
Right. Kind of, yes. But yeah, and there's the number 42 comes up a lot in the movie as well. Like if you take the room number, the 237, and just a particular way you can do math, and it'll come to 42. There's like areas in the bar where there's 4 seats separated, and then there's a separation, then there's 2 seats, and then it's like there's all this stuff like that people have bothered to go through and look at that I've never even thought of.
It's 3 times 7, then 2 times 21, be 42.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Which documentaries, Crooksy, did you watch?
There's actually just on YouTube. There's a making of documentary. There's another one. It's called Room 237 that goes into a lot of the speculation on like what the movie is really about. There's a bunch out there. Just do a search on YouTube for The Shining, and you're gonna find a ton of stuff.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Now it's funny that they actually changed the room number so that people wouldn't be afraid to stay in the room.
Right.
But it probably would have made it more like, hey, I want to go stay at the room over here.
That's exactly what happened. So in that hotel, there was never a room 237.
Yeah.
All right. But there was a 217, and that the room that they actually used was room 217. But they wanted to change the door numbers so that way people wouldn't be freaked out. But then after the movie came out, people were going there trying to book 237, and there wasn't one.
Okay, this hotel really existed as a hotel before
it's still
used it.
Yeah, but it's not the same hotel that Stephen King based the movie off of. Him and his wife went to is it the Stanley Hotel in Colorado? I want to say. The Stanley, I believe it's the Stanley Hotel. And
is that why Stanley directed it? Get it? No, I'm joking.
I believe it's the Stanley. I know, like it's like a one of those bucket list places that I would like to check out just because it's beautiful. And same thing with this one, the one that's that's used for this movie. I would love to just check it out.
Timberline in Oregon for this one.
Yep. But I believe the Stanley is what it was based off of. And it was Stephen King and his wife actually were staying there, and it was around the same time of year where things were starting to shut down. So they were like the only people in the place, and they were just going through the hallways, and they're like, this is so creepy. He wrote a book about it. Another weird little tidbit of information I found out, and I didn't know this either until today, but the title of The Shining that Stephen King came up with, it was off of a John Lennon song. The song is Instant Karma, and it's in that song he keeps saying, and we'll all shine on in that song. And that's where he got exactly. He used that there.
Thank you, Jar Jar, for singing. Now I know.
Beautiful singing voice.
Thank you.
No, it really helped.
So yeah, there's a lot of info out there. I'm sure I haven't even seen or even bothered to even find half the stuff that's out there. But there's a lot. So rather than break down the movie completely, were there any like scenes that really stuck out to you, Nar, that maybe you were affected by, like as an actress? Like you can,
Oh yeah. I mean, of course, as an act, I mean, the scene that everyone talks about, just her when the axe is coming, the big jump scare that she has
Mhm.
with the axe coming through. Because didn't she not know? Well, the very iconic shot of
Yeah.
seeing her with the big eyes open and the look of terror.
Mhm.
Someone had said that she didn't know that there was something in that scene that she didn't know how that it was going to happen a certain way, and that's what
Well,
inspires that.
most likely, I know that "Here's Johnny" line was
Yeah, that was improvised.
That
and
was
Stanley
impressive.
Kubrick didn't know who Johnny Carson really was because he lived in the UK, so he had no idea who. So he was actually going to cut it out, and then they realized. Another interesting tidbit about that scene is that they went through 60 doors for that scene because
For
well,
him to,
well, Jack Nicholson worked at like as part of like a fire department at one point and knew the right way to chop down a door. So they had to keep getting like thicker doors so it wouldn't be so easy for him to get through it.
no way. So he was okay. Well, so he was a firefighter. No, or he knew.
Something to do like he was
Knew.
part of like a volunteer firefighter or something like that.
No way.
Yeah,
That's
something like
crazy.
Some
Yeah.
of the best. Steve Buscemi was a firefighter before he became an actor.
Oh, no
Nice.
kidding.
In
I
New
love Steve
York.
Buscemi. And his family owns a grocery store in Massachusetts.
Steve Buscemi?
Yep.
No way.
Yep.
So, but you were asking about as an actor. I mean, that scene where she starts to become
Manic.
that penultimate scene, and then trying to protect her son, and just as she's discovering, going into extremis, beat moment by moment, just that as an actor, just I eat that shit up for
Yeah.
my parents are asleep, so I don't know why I'm being, but I'll talk quieter so I can no, but I just her journey that that her character has to go through from beginning to end. I just thought Shelley Duvall just knocked
I
it
agree. I thought she's fantastic in it, and I like hearing about all the crap she had to go through. It makes me feel even worse for her. And
yeah,
I mean, I would love to meet her at some point. Hopefully, I know she just recently did a movie with Felissa Rose, and so I know that. Yeah, and I kick at myself because I forgot to ask her about it last time I saw her, and I'm like, oh crap, I have to remember.
Do you know
next
what
time.
the title? Do you remember what the title is?
I don't remember, unfortunately, but I'm sure when it comes out, Felissa will be posting a lot about it. But
yeah, I just read today, just randomly, a headline came. I mean, literally randomly, earlier today, a headline came across that it was Shelley Duvall's 74th birthday.
Really?
On July 7th. So this past Friday.
So look at us.
Look
Happy
at it.
birthday, Shelley.
Happy birthday. And it's time. We're timely.
Yes. But yeah, so there's a few like cast members, I guess, that I thought stood out, especially because I mean we all know who Jack Nicholson is. We know a lot of us know who Shelley Duvall is. They may not have as much experience. Like I watched some of that stuff on HBO when I was a kid, and but like you said, the kid who played Danny, I thought was awesome.
Yeah.
The bartender, freaky as all hell.
Yeah,
and
even Statman Crothers.
Oh, I mean, just every time, just his presence on screen and the scenes with Danny are extraordinary. He's extraordinary, and I never had. Had he done other films before?
I don't know
about before.
He did voice acting. Like he was the voice of Hong Kong Phooey.
Okay.
The old cartoon.
Number one super guy.
Yeah, he was also the voice of. There was a Transformer that he was the voice of.
Jazz.
But his face, his physical bearing, his face, his voice, just his all of the Jack Nicholson I've loved since forever.
Yeah, whoever did the casting for this movie was like really on point.
Yeah.
with the characters because they all work so well. Nobody, I don't think, could have played Shelley's character
No.
the way she did. Nobody could have played Jax the way he did. Danny was phenomenal. Same
Yeah.
with Crothers. Like they were
Here's something
all
I don't know how I
very.
don't remember this. He was in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh yeah,
Jack
yeah,
Nicholson.
that's right.
Oh, that's my favorite. That's probably I haven't. I love him, Jack Nicholson, and I still haven't seen Five Easy Pieces, but everything he's in is amazing. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I've watched a bunch of, not a ton of times, but a bunch of times, just
Yeah.
because he's so good in it, and the actors in that film with him in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. They're
Oh yeah,
all so good.
that's like in my top 10 easily of all time favorite movies.
A young Danny DeVito, young
That
Christopher
was his
Lloyd.
first film role.
That was Danny DeVito's first.
Yeah. We'll talk about it after. I don't want to get
Okay, yeah, we won't do. But no, they're so good. The old lady in the bathtub. I mean, the
Oh,
sexy
right.
woman. I mean, that scene made my
Good
vagina quiver.
Lord.
That woman.
Mine too.
High five all the way around.
That woman is so
Quivering
beautiful.
vaginas.
Yeah.
That woman
was
is so beautiful and sexy coming out of the bathtub.
And then
Oh
she
my
just turned into a
And
hag.
Oh,
Yeah.
I hope I can play a hag someday.
Me too.
I can do it right now. But
or maybe people are like, you could play a hag right now.
No.
But no, that scene was so good.
Yeah, her name is Leah Beldam is her name.
The
The
beautiful
young woman
one.
in the bath. That's her. That's what she was casted as.
Wait, what's it? Young woman in bath?
Yep.
Is her character?
Not
It's
too
like
far
girl
off.
in bathroom.
Yeah,
That's what I was getting at.
if we
there-
get
there's
a remake going on here.
Yeah.
We know a bathroom girl for you.
There's a couple other parts that I think are just awesome, even though they're not as big. The dude that he talks to, Grady, and he talks to Grady in the bathroom. He drops an N-bomb in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
But that's it was kind of
remember that.
Oh yeah. He talks about his friend, his son hanging out with Scatman Crothers, and he drops the N-bomb, and it's very uncomfortable, but it's for a reason. As far as to show the mentality, like, so there's another little side thing to that too. He mentions his daughters needed to be corrected or whatever. And his daughters are the two little girls in the hallway.
Yeah.
And they had tried to burn the place down at one point, and he ended up having to kill them to stop them from doing it. So there's like a little part there. And then I guess there's we don't know if there was maybe a couple people in that same family, because there was a different first name for Grady. Grady is the last name. He just goes by Grady. But there was a different caretaker that last name was Grady that also ended up killing his family previously. That they mentioned that in the movie when he's like doing the whole interview part in the office.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
But yeah, there's been a lot of just, it's the place itself is a monster. You know, it's its own separate being almost. Another weird thing too, and I don't know if this is something that we would have just caught, and maybe it made us uncomfortable, but like as Danny's like going through the hallways on his little tricycle.
Oh God, yes.
A lot of the rooms don't make any sense. Like you'll see a wall that's, you know, however thick, and then he'll go around that corner, and then there's rooms that will open up until like that room couldn't exist, because it would be, they would fall out into they would fall down to the next floor, you know, if that room did exist, you know, because there was nothing there for a room. So there's a lot of that stuff going on too. There's a lot of just misdirect, and with some of the cutting of camera angles and stuff like that too. They were messing with us. That one scene where he's playing with the cars on the carpet.
Yep.
You see, like he's in the little shape on the carpet, and it's a line going like leading away from him. Yeah. The ball gets rolled in, and then it cuts to him from the back, and then when he comes back, that lead in is gone. So it's like almost like he's trapped in, because it also was happening right in front of room 237. So it's like you're in this area now. This is where you are, kind of deal.
Right.
There's just so much stuff to look at. It's crazy. But yeah, I don't know.
Do you all when he's on the little tricycle going round and round, just sonically the sound of
Where
the
he was
sound of the
hardwood
tricycle.
floor, then carpet, hardwood
Yeah,
floor, then
yeah.
carpet.
Oh God, yes. I mean,
So
just
I was going to mention that
all of
later.
that.
I was going to mention that later. So when he's actually, so the way that they followed him around is the same way they followed him around when he was in the maze at the end of the movie. And the music has that sound in it, of the sound of it, the hardwood floor, then the carpet, hardwood floor, and the carpet. It like cuts back and forth, but it's mixed into the music.
Oh, wow.
See,
Yeah.
now we have. Can we do another show where we where we
Gotta
all
rewatch.
rewatch it?
It's called Kevin made all this stuff up. Sorry, guys.
Can you imagine?
The
We're like, let me
rewatching
just
of
we
the
rewatch it, and we're like, Kevin, that's not
the re-education of Kevin now.
the re-education.
Yeah.
I've get well. I know I always. Only for the viewer public. I know I always name drop, which is stupid. But I watched The Shining in January when Tony Moran and I started our hotel sojourn of looking for a place to live.
Mhm.
Tony was excited about the show and had known Jar Jar from Tidewater and
Yep.
Maryland Pop and HorrorCon. So he was very excited. So he actually, I told him what my assignment was, and he said, "Well, let's sit down." We were in Idaho in the hotel, and I have an iPhone 7 Plus. I mean, why? I don't know why I'm telling you that, but so we watched it on my phone, but we sat right down and watched it together in January. So I thought the viewers might enjoy knowing that I watched The Shining with the original unmasked Michael Myers.
face of Michael Myers.
Face of Michael Myers. But he had seen it so many times, so he was excited for
He's
me.
probably just like, huh? What do you think of this? What do you think of
Yeah.
this?
Oh, yeah. No, he was so excited. Well, and I'm mad. That was in January. I was taking notes, and I'm so mad. Right as we started, I'm like, I wish I literally took notes.
Mhm.
Initially, Tony was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm taking notes for the show."
I need to now do that because Kevin is so thorough with his
It's not really a lot. I just wrote in the little field.
Well, I'm kicking myself because I had my notes for when we
I
had
got
our
Shining
show.
fun facts, but yours are way better.
Well, when we do our second show, now this is stupid, or we'll talk off camera, but no, I had written notes while I was watching The Shining
Mm.
of things I wanted to talk about, and then kind of after the first 30 minutes I didn't want to keep looking down, miss what was going on, so I stopped taking the notes. But they were things I wanted to talk about, and then I didn't remember that I'd had my notes to share, so maybe on down the road.
Yeah, that's completely fine.
Um,
So as far as this may be like a loaded question or something, but as an actress yourself, now gender aside, is there any part that you would have loved to, like, you saw like, oh man, I would have killed this part? You know, is there anything that you would have liked to play yourself? Again, it doesn't have to necessarily be Shelley Duvall's character, any character in the movie.
well, number one would have been to play her character. That would just be. I mean, obviously,
I
I would
could
never.
see it. Like,
I
don't
could
get
too.
me wrong.
I didn't know if there's any other character you're like, I could crush that.
I could.
You know?
Well, I never. Just so people know who will be watching, I never walk around and think, "Oh, I could crush that." But I would love. But I would love. Yeah, I mean, if of the characters in the movie, that just her journey, and not to sound cheesy, but the arc of the journey that she has to go through from the opening scene to the end scene. I just, as an actor, that's such meaty stuff to get to play. I would love, I mean, to play Jack Nicholson's character would be a thrill, a huge thrill as an actor. Just that challenge of watching him
going to that level. Yeah.
extreme.
Because like
would be a
normally that's something like only like if you're gonna get that angry, it's something like personal. Like it really
I can
has
tell
to
you some of the reason why he got that angry. So Jack Nicholson is not a big fan of cheese sandwiches, right?
Oh,
so for 2 weeks straight, when they were filming some specific scenes that he needed to be really like distraught and upset, He gave him nothing but cheese sandwiches to eat like during that time.
Oh,
No
fuck
way.
that.
Oh, I love it. And
Fuck
that
you and
just
your
sent
cheese
him.
sandwiches.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
did he let them know I don't like cheese sandwiches?
Yeah,
So serve
they
them.
knew. They knew.
So only give me that, and that will help me get to
No,
the.
no, no, no. It wasn't his choice to get the cheese sandwiches. They're like, all right, we need this guy pissed off. Let's make him pissed
So
off.
they used what info,
These
the intel they
motherfuckers.
had. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Yeah, but it's also kind of messed up. But it worked.
Yeah.
He was awesome in it.
See, I know people, probably fellow actors. Fellow actors would probably not like hearing me say this, but I love. The more that I'm fucked with by a director, I don't mean like
yeah,
messed with, or if
Push
they
your button.
use some sort of
Yeah.
things they know about me, the button pushing, I just thrive on that. And I know not all actors are like that, of course, but for me, the button pushing, whatever it takes for me to get to where I need to be in a scene, or it's not just in one scene, but for the whole whatever journey that character has to go on. I really like that, but I know there are actors that don't like that. But
Yeah, I don't think I would like it personally.
I don't think I could handle it.
They would just be like,
myself.
all right, we just saw that grown man burst into tears on set.
Yeah, right.
That'd be this guy.
That guy may be 6'4", but he looks like a pile of shit over
He's
there.
basically a tall toddler. How's that?
it may have, my very first acting teacher and director as a kid was really, really tough on me. So it may just be just that's
people
what I
need
respond to. And and I need it. I really do need
it. There's like with regular jobs, there's some people that thrive with that. They like to be like, hey, you're not making your own numbers. You need to do this, whatever, blah, 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 whatever, it's a competition here. That's what they need. I do not like that. So
see, I came up in construction, so I thought that was just the way people were. They just friggin' screamed at you all the time, and I thought that was just work life.
Oh, well, I guess.
I mean, I don't want people to think that I want to be abused. Well, I see. No, I mean,
abuse me, damn it.
Abuse. I guess it's a
ride me wet.
But to be able to pull off Shelley, wait, what'd you say? Ride me
wet. Put me away. What is it?
Wait, what'd you say? Ride me wet.
Road.
It's isn't it put me away wet, or is it
put me? Is it put me away?
Ride me hard. Well, okay. I have a question on The Shining.
Something like that.
Back on the subject of
The The Shining.
Oh no, I wasn't trying to steer it back, but I do, because sometimes I'm dense. What does it mean? I need to watch it over and over and over again. So I'm the film over and over again to be able to come up with an answer myself. But because I've seen it just one time, at the end when it shows him in that black and white picture, Jack Nicholson, with the big smile, and the Overlook Hotel is under it. What does that mean?
It was a New Year's party, right?
Yeah.
Was it 1921?
Yeah, I was going to say 1921.
1921, and I don't know if you remember, but like in that bathroom scene with Grady, he did say, "You've always been the caretaker." Yep. And then it goes to that scene, and he's right in the front of the thing, and it's he was there when that picture was taken, and that's actually the way he was standing. He had like one arm up and one arm down. Yeah. And it's actually the way that he's standing. This is another theory. It's the same way that Baphomet. It's like a satanic, like idol or whatever. I actually have.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the goat.
That's the way his arms were. In
that
one
picture?
Pointing up, one pointing down.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that's again, it's just a theory. Stanley Kubrick never been like, yep, that's it. Like he was not that guy. He would ignore these kind of things because he just wanted people to think is what it was,
Yeah.
Maybe even enjoys the conspiracies.
Probably. That's the other thing too. The Apollo 11 that's on. Twitter, stuff like that. There's other things that come into
proves that Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, it's because the rumor is that Stanley Kubrick, whatever,
Film.
filmed the fake moon landing back in the day.
Did you hear that? Nar?
I've heard.
Yeah.
I didn't. I've heard that. Wait, tell me. Do you think that's true?
I
Oh
don't
no,
I don't want to think it's true. And I've seen interviews with like Buzz Aldrin and whatever, and like there's been fist fights that have broken out
Oh yeah.
because they're like, this isn't real, and they're just like, what did you just say to me? And they're like, you didn't really do this, and he's just like, he'll just punch people in the face because he's like, F you, yes I did.
Yes,
Like,
Yeah.
right.
just because you don't believe it doesn't mean it didn't happen. But I don't know. It's
So there's a theory that Stanley Kubrick hasn't said, "Oh yeah, I shot."
Oh no.
He never
He's
would.
not pushing. He's not saying that, but just conspiracy theorists are saying, "Oh, that the moon landing
was
wasn't
fake
real,
and was
it
directed
filmed."
by him. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But
Flat Earth.
yeah, exactly. Flat Earth. But yeah, so the as far as other memorable scenes for myself, and this is one that I mentioned to Jar Jar before we started recording and everything. The scene where Jack is going after Shelley Duvall's character, and she has the baseball bat.
Yep.
Yep.
He's like, "Give me the bat. I just want to bash your fucking brains in." Right. That particular scene is the one that really broke her. That scene, they did 127 takes on that.
Oh, so it's not the axe scene.
Well, I'm sure like she was tormented the whole time. On top of that, Kubrick like instructed other actors to just not be super nice to her, like just don't let her get too comfortable kind of deal. And like there was a situation like I watched a documentary where they're like, all right, we're gonna hold on this, and so it was freezing. She went over to grab a spoonful of soup, and he called action, and then immediately like flipped out and went in and yelled at her. She's like, "I'm sorry, you said we're holding, and I just went to get some soup. I'm cold and whatever, and you didn't say that we're gonna start rolling or whatever." And he was just like yelling at her, and she was like, "Look at me, I'm losing my hair," and she was like pulling, and like hair was coming out. He grabbed a little bit of her hair. There's like a few strands. He's like, "Oh yeah, it's really coming out in clumps," and just like walked away. And yeah, he was not nice to her at all. Yeah, he also wasn't nice to Scatman Crothers as well, which is another unfortunate thing.
Wait, I have
Yeah.
Professor, I have a question.
Yeah.
Wait, so the baseball bat, okay, because no, then I want to hear the Scatman, what he did to Scatman Crothers. Wait, so with the baseball scene, he had her do it like over 100 times, you said?
Yeah, it was according to, it was 127 times.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the scene. I mean, I knew he made her. Okay, so it's that scene that he made her do.
Well, I mean, it sounds like the door scene happened at least 60 times because he had to replace the door 60 times. So I'm sure she was getting pretty bent out of shape at that one as well, which I rightfully, I understand. But yeah, so that one, she like in the actual the take that they're using, she is like legitimately a mess. Like she's bright red. She's not handling things well, and that's reality.
Did she ever give an interview, Shelley Duvall, about his directorial treatment of him, or no?
It's been brought up. I don't think she's dug into it too much, but I know it's been brought up here and there. I don't know if she's just assuming, just trying to stay professional and keep, even though the guy's long gone. But I don't know. I should maybe look that stuff up too because I want to see.
Yeah, I didn't. That because then who's provided the information that scene was shot 127 times? Only a crew person.
Yeah, I mean it's like
it's part of
like the knowledge about the movie. There's a lot of stuff that like the whatchamacallit, the Scatman Crothers scene where he's actually sitting in the kitchen with Danny and he's talking about, you got the shine, whatever. And he's like, you want some ice cream, Doc? And whatever. He had to do that 148 times. Yeah. And there's an interview that's part of the making of with Scatman Crothers, and he's legitimately tearing up, like on the verge of like just busting out crying. And he's just like, if you see tears, they're tears of joy because I'm so happy I got to work with all these great actors, but like he legit was like being run down by
by Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah. I'm like, don't mess with Scatman. He's Hong Kung food.
Hong Kong food. He's the number one super guy.
He's the number one super guy. I mean, when he went back to his house, he had the like that naked lady poster. You know.
Yeah,
It is
Yes.
that was the best.
I know. I'm like, I want to find that poster. I want that in my room. See if my wife has
Oh,
to
the poster. I forgot about it.
And they're just like, oh.
I forgot about. Oh my gosh, I forgot about. Yeah, we see him when he's back at his place.
Yeah.
The maze scene at the end is how Danny is smart enough to cover his tracks.
Yeah.
Right. That was
Is that where the term came from? Cover your tracks.
I don't know about that, but I'm sure it had something to do with that. But not with that specifically, but that kind of action.
And how was
love-
that? I would never be that smart to know as a kid.
Oh,
know.
not at that age.
There's
No
another
way.
thing has to do with the maze. So you know when you see him the next day and he's frozen.
Yeah.
The expression on his face.
Yeah.
So when he talks about being sober and he's in the bar like earlier on in the movie and he's making a decision to drink.
Oh.
He's making the same exact face and people have actually overlaid it like and it's like exactly the same exact like shot
That's
and
pretty
everything.
cool.
Exactly the same.
I didn't even
No.
put that together until just now. That's pretty.
I didn't either until I watched it in a YouTube video.
Oh,
But yeah, that scene, just the visual of Jack like that.
oh, at the end.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It looks so
Ooh.
cool. And all the snow, it was just like styrofoam and something
It
else.
looked so real.
It totally did. And I think that this is the case where I think Stanley Kubrick he thought that the maze wasn't enough. He thought it would be too easy to get out. So they had him go try it and he couldn't get out. It's like they had to help him out. So like, yeah, that's like, the people.
And
another thing too.
Oh, go ahead.
All right. There, like, when everything's all going well, you'll see Jack is wearing a lot of green.
Yeah.
And at one point he's wearing a green tie and like the pattern on the tie is reminiscent of the maze.
Ooh.
But when things start to change, you don't see him wear green anymore. He wears red. Like when things start to go bad, he's wearing like a red coat or he's wearing a like a plaid shirt that's like basically like a red plaid shirt. And I thought that was really interesting too. I'm like, I never noticed that either. Like, what the hell?
No. How that just what did you love how big that lobby, just how ginormous
that
the
was
lobby, and then with him just at the desk. I mean, just you all had mentioned earlier, just the hotel itself was a character. I mean, just
totally.
that space, physical space was just perfect. I've never seen a lobby that
Yeah.
I mean, I know there are large lobbies like that, but it's just so just
Yeah, it was so nice, but also almost so terrifying.
so
Like,
terrifying.
buckets of
I wouldn't
blood.
want to just hang out there by myself all the time.
No.
All the echoes and yeah,
Shelley Duvall's character, Wendy Torrance, she seemed perfectly fine.
Mhm.
But I mean, even if things had been fine, like I just was amazed that her character wasn't weirded out by that big physical space, even before her husband. It just, well, in the scene, I mean, well, that's weird to say, but the scene with her in the big kitchen, like just her character seems, very easygoing. I guess maybe it's because I know myself. If Nancy Ann was put in that position, I would never be as like, oh, okay, let's go be caretakers of this ginormous hotel. It sounds great.
Yeah.
And you can ride all day and night, and I'll take care of our son, and it'll just be so fun.
Yeah.
Just
yeah,
the two of us for the next 6 months stuck here. Like what?
You
I don't know
literally
about that.
cannot leave.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can't.
I will.
That is a test of psyche all in itself. Being
Oh,
like trapped with and a kid.
Oh,
like
man.
yeah.
I mean,
It's gonna be
luckily,
painful.
Ew.
Too.
Ew.
Yeah.
luckily he was very well behaved. I mean, until he was.
I know, like for real, the most quietest kid in the world.
Whole
Red
that's
rum.
the thing too.
Red rum.
He made that up. in his-
Do it, Jar Jar. Do it.
Red rum. Red rum.
he that wasn't a direction from Stanley Kubrick. He actually did that during the audition on his own. And
Oh,
Stanley
really?
liked it so much, that's why he hired him. Yeah,
Oh my God, he's
Oh,
like a
man.
savant actor.
for real. And that went on to be a college professor. Yeah,
No, I mean, yeah, he is legit. That was his own
yeah,
creation.
a creative little kid. Because it's creepy as all
It's
get out. I'll
it's
tell you
all
that.
it's all
Yeah.
get out. It
If a
is.
kid did that in front of me, I'd be like, I'm gonna let you on fire. Get away from me.
Yeah, I will kick you across the
Yes.
room.
Let's see how far I
He's
can
his
punch you.
own. I mean, he really is a savant. I mean, I feel to have pulled off that amazing
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
performance, that just his child brain at that, to be able to do that at that age,
The
I think
more horror movies that I'm having to watch, and when I see there's child actors in them, I really watch the child actors at this point, because it you can tell the level that they're going to get to later on.
Oh yeah.
Like Evil Dead Rise, I just watched the kid
Mhm.
in that. I'm just like, I'm amazed. I could not deal with that kind of torture going on around me and still act like,
Right. Even when it comes down to like the first season of Stranger Things, as soon as I saw Millie
Oh,
Bobby
yeah.
Brown, like I was just like, we're going to be hearing about her for the rest of my life.
Oh, yeah.
Like she's going to be acting forever. And I still believe that.
I've only seen a couple of episodes of Stranger Things, but I know
You would love it probably, because
I
you're a
know I
child.
would love it.
You're our age. You were a child of that decade. You
I
would
know.
love seeing that stuff.
No, I know. No, I know. And she'll be here. I mean, I've only seen a couple of episodes, but I know, or even have I, but yeah, you can tell as a child if they'll
Right.
be,
They can act their balls off. Yeah, she can.
yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. As long as she stays on the straight and narrow and doesn't turn to how some child actors turn, we'll be good. She's getting older now, so that's good. But yeah, I'm trying to think if there was anything else that I wanted to bring up. You guys talk amongst yourself. I'm going to look at my books.
Well, you got your book.
Well,
That's
I
not
was
fair.
going to say, when I first was watching how Shelley Duvall, Wendy Torrance, how her interactions with her husband, and I don't want people to think, oh, Nancy Ann always talks about her
Oh no, don't
abusive
worry about it.
husband, but
Once again, woman, this is your show. You talk about, because your
No,
fans are going to want to know that stuff,
but hearing how
and that you're
submissive-
open enough to talk about it too.
Oh,
Right.
okay. But how submissive she is from the get-go with her husband reminded me when my ex-husband started he was, even while we were dating, I mean, I guess in my defense, I did try to break up with him 3 times, and then right before we were married, he threatened to commit suicide if I didn't give him a chance. But once the first big physical abuse thing happened a month after we were married, I totally went into like a submissive position from there on out for the next 5 years. So watching Shelley Duvall's character with her husband, even before he had the mental switch, like she's just very submissive with him, and just the sound of her voice and the tone of her voice just reminded me. I was never that submissive with my husband, but it reminded of me of myself when I'd be walking on eggshells with my ex and wanting to be very pleasing. And so just some parts of her demeanor reminded of me of what it felt
I can
like.
imagine.
I could totally get that. And
Yeah, because
she was
perfect
never
example of an abused woman was this character, like,
Oh, yeah.
just very timid.
She never like, unless she had to, she never did anything against him until she had no other choice. So it's like she was the victim
until you fucked with
from the
her
start.
kid.
Yeah.
Like he could do anything he wanted to her. It was Danny was what really saved her. Like,
yeah, you're right. You're
Literally.
right.
But yeah,
Even
there's
the tone. I was just gonna say really quickly, just even Shelley Duvall, just the sound, the high pitched timbre of her voice, just I mean, from the beginning, it just everything about her in that role was just very haunting in and of itself. Just how she looked, how she sounded, just those big brown eyes. There's just not, oh gosh, not something spooky about her, but just her. She's very specific looking,
Yeah.
so tall, gangly, the big brown eyes, the big teeth, just her features alone, and
Yeah,
big.
am I the only
I
person-
think she's beautiful.
I was going to say, I always found her extremely adorable. Like,
Oh yeah,
all right.
just those.
She did modeling and stuff earlier on.
I know.
Too. Like,
Well,
and I'm like, I thought she was hot.
oh yeah, right after Tony and I finished watching it, and I immediately IMDb'd her and was so, because I never had really researched or looked her up, because I'd only seen her in Popeye's Olive Oil.
Mhm.
And yeah, I had no idea that she had been the model. I mean, and of course it makes perfect sense, just her
frame.
her frame, her, I mean, just a beautiful woman, and just very unique looking. And
yeah.
So I was reading, as I was looking it up, I was reading out loud to Tony. I was like, oh my gosh, she did that. You know, just her background. I was so curious about.
Yeah. And one of the things that was kind of sad about this whole movie experience is it actually didn't get good reviews when it came out.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't like a box office smash by any means.
Well, what were their issues with it?
Actually, a lot of the issues were with her. Like a lot of the
performance.
Yes. Yep. Which I don't get. I don't get it. But I don't know. Maybe we're just in a different time where we can respect something a little bit better than the people that were doing film reviews in 1980. I don't know.
Did they think she overacted, or what?
Yeah.
What was?
Yeah, and then there was even in that making of, there was like Kubrick was talking to her, and he's just like, "You sound fake. Like what you're saying is you don't. This isn't you. This is not going to come across as real. Like you need to do something different because you know, he was very you know, I guess she didn't handle that very well either, but I wouldn't either.
Wait, on camera, when she was doing a scene, she said you sound fake.
Yeah, it's in the making of. I'll find the link to the YouTube video for the making of, and I'll send it through the chat, and so you can check it out.
So he wanted her to just feel
different,
uneasy,
different. Yeah,
the whole way.
But yeah, he's a control freak, or he was a control freak, and I get it. He's made some amazing movies. I haven't watched them all, obviously. I didn't know about Lolita. And one of the other things that I just wanted to point out, you know, the all work and no play make Jack a dull boy.
Yeah.
His assistant had to type those pages out. Like there's no photocopies, no nothing. She had to type them all out because he wanted them in specific formats and everything, because it changes page by page. It was over 500 pages. But besides in English, she had to do it in 5 other languages as well for the foreign markets.
No way.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
And when you said assistant,
but it wasn't enough.
Were you referring to Stanley Kubrick's assistant, or
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, she had to type. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
I know.
ridiculous.
Yeah, whatever she got paid, it definitely probably was nowhere
Was
near.
not enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially back then.
Yeah.
And what were Stephen King's issues initially with the film?
Too much things were changed, I think.
Yeah, he changed a lot. There was, I mean, one example, like even down to the color of the vehicle that he drove. Like he was being picky about that. Because in the book, he drove a red Volkswagen Bug, but in the movie, he drove a yellow one.
Yeah.
But then you see a red one that got totaled later on in the movie. So it's like a little like, hey, F you kind of deal. And he so part of the deal is that, you know, you can make the movie, but I have to be able to write the first pass at the script. And Kubrick was like, all right. And then he's like, nope, you're not going to do that. And so he didn't do it. He didn't let him do it. And he just took control over it. He was changing things as it was going. Like, yeah.
So who gets the screenwriter credit? Does Stephen King get the screenwriter credit in the IMDb?
It says Stephen King, Stanley Kubrick, and Diane Johnson. So, I mean, the writing may have been, you know, because it's something that's based off of his novel or whatever. Yeah. I know, like in the some of the stuff was probably for the better, but in the book, the hedge maze, there's actually animals, like hedge animals,
Yeah.
like topiaries or whatever they're called, and they come to life in the book, and they're chasing and stuff like that. So Stephen King years later made his own version of The Shining that I want to say was a made-for-TV movie, and they're like, yeah, don't even bother to watch it.
No, right as you said that,
Yeah, like
I
don't
was
watch.
like, oh no.
Stanley, Stephen King can write an awesome book, but he doesn't have a good record of making awesome movies. The movies that he's actually made have not been great.
You were saying he did grow to love the film.
Yeah, he grew to respect it. Yeah,
or respected. Respect. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean,
it's a national treasure now.
Well, there's that, and plus, no matter how many times I've never read the book, but now that I know it's that much different, maybe I will read the book. I have it, I just haven't read it.
Yeah,
one of those guys. I don't want to crack the spine. So
I'm afraid to read a book after watching a movie. I'm like, I'm gonna screw up the movie for myself.
Exactly. I was thinking, it'd be interesting to read The Shining, but yeah, I don't want to. Right when
I've
you
done
said
that to myself so many
right
times.
when you said there were hedge animals, I was like, oh no.
even the kid that they chose to play Danny in the Stephen King one, I was just like, this was a bad choice. And I only saw images of him. I'm like, oof, this is not good.
Did Stanley Kubrick in some of the documentaries, was it a hard casting search to find the little boy who played Danny? They
didn't really get into it. That I didn't. All I know is that when he did the finger thing, that Stanley was like, "I'm sold," kind of deal. He didn't really get into how many. I don't remember them saying how many kids they auditioned or anything. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, you'll run into him at a con and you can talk to him.
I can ask him. And I wonder if Shelley, I wonder if if Stanley Kubrick went straight to Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall, like if he knew he wanted those two right off the bat, or was he looking at a few different actors and
I gotta know who else were the actors behind Shelley.
I know,
because Jack, all right, maybe there's a few people that you could fit into that spot that would, but she has such a look in the way she was throughout it.
Yeah.
It'd be hard for me to think of another actress that at that time that would have filled that role.
Well, that being said, though, I know you could possibly fill Jack's role, but I don't think it would be the same movie.
I don't think it would be the same movie either. No. His anger and the level that he was
as an actor, I always enjoy hearing who was almost chosen. I remember, not to get off The Shining, but just
we should actually, because we are we're
over an hour.
We should start
what were you saying?
I was just going to say in The Godfather that they looked at Anthony Quinn to play Marlon Brando. I can
really
not. I mean, I like Anthony Quinn, but I always love knowing who the studios or the director are looking at, but then knowing that, oh my gosh, I can't imagine, it would be a totally different movie if it were Anthony Quinn in that role. Vivien Leigh is one of my favorite actors, and so I love knowing with Gone with the Wind what other actors were auditioned before Vivien Leigh was cast. I always love knowing who else read for a part, and then ultimately it always ends up, or do you remember the movie Primal Fear with Edward Norton?
Yeah.
That at that time everything was being offered to Leonardo DiCaprio, and he wasn't able to do the film, and then they auditioned Matt Damon and a few others, and the casting director said that with that role that Edward Norton grew up in Boston, but he came into the audition with the Appalachian accent of wherever the boy was supposed to be from, but came in as the boy and said that he was from whatever, somewhere in Tennessee or wherever it was, and that the casting director chose him because he was able to get both of the stuttering part of the Aaron Stampler character, and then the the boy that I mean, not boy, but remember how he tried to make it look like he was dual personality in
Mhm.
Primal Fear, but that none of the actors she had read prior to Edward Norton could capture that duality of.
Yeah.
So I always just enjoy knowing as an actor, like who's auditioned and been
Who
seen,
could
and
this
then
been?
and who
Yeah,
could
yeah.
this have been, and then knowing that I like Leonardo DiCaprio, but I'm so glad that he couldn't. Of course, I like him, but I'm glad that he couldn't do the film because I thought Edward Norton was just so brilliant. And
I think they're both great, honestly.
yeah, oh
Um,
yeah,
Ed Norton has done some amazing
and
roles.
yeah,
Same with
Leonardo
Leonardo
DiCaprio, yeah,
DiCaprio.
he's
yeah. Oh,
in
they're
one of
both.
my other all-time favorite movies. So like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Gangs of New
sometimes
York.
think that casting can sometimes work out for the, like, of course Leonardo DiCaprio would have been great in that role, but sometimes I think the way things are meant to be, somehow the stars align and they somehow
Yeah,
the right person is found. Not that he wouldn't be right for that film, of course,
but
but
Edward Norton was probably the
oh
better choice, anyways. You know, even nothing against, but so in those situations too, like if Edward Norton wasn't as, I mean, I'm sure he was a name at that time, but the fact that he put so much effort into it, and the directors are able to see that,
yeah,
I'm sure that helped him progress in his career even more.
yeah,
Uh,
Mm.
yeah,
but yeah, no, that's pretty interesting. Of course, there's all these ones that I know I've heard, but I can't think of any of them, of people that were supposed, like, almost cast as something, and then it was someone else.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. That's a whole other episode.
I know
Yeah.
that would be a fun.
I think that's what I'm gonna look into for the next movie that we watch. Be like, okay, could this have been?
Yeah, yeah. Well, if we're doing the one that we talked about, then I don't think there's too much other options.
No.
But but the
Wait. Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah. So as far as The Shining, obviously you enjoyed it.
Yes, it
yes.
seems we
Would you
all.
say is this a movie that you're going to revisit? Like,
Oh, most definitely. Now
yeah.
that you, now,
Yeah,
I
you
feel like
kind of
we
made
have
it
to.
more homework for us there, Kevin.
I actually feel like now well, only if you wanted, could we do a little 10-minute on the second show?
The
Do a little
return.
10-minute, because I have my notes that I was so excited to share. Well, I wanted to show that I was a good pupil and that
Mhm.
I'd written notes, but no, but to go back and look at Crooksy, some of the things that you were pointing out would be there. Obviously, with a film like that, there's so much,
And
there's so many layers that,
like a lot of it's theory as well, like as far
yeah,
as like digging into some stuff. But obviously the way people were treated is not so much theory, but
yeah,
yeah, it's very interesting. For a movie that, like, I grew up liking so much, like, to learn new things about it. Even today, I learned new things about it while watching some other stuff about it. I was like, I had no idea that was a thing. That's
well,
crazy.
and I'm so glad you all assigned it to me, because I did try a few years ago. It came on TV, and it was during the day, and I've always loved Jack Nicholson hugely, and then Shelley Duvall I always liked, but only knew her from Olive Oil, obviously. But I tried to start watching it, and just the opening shots of the movie, and I was just like, nope, and I turned it off. I was like,
Creeped you out?
can't do it. Just was way too creeped out, and as
Oh,
much
really?
as I just was like, nope, it's not. I can't. I made it. I made it into the. I made it to where they made it to the hotel
Mhm.
after, but very quickly, I just, with the emptiness of the hotel, just how empty it was, and that it was just the three of them, and then Scatman Crothers, and then before you even see the twins, I just was like, nope, I can't.
Yeah.
And so I was happy that you all gave me that assignment, because I had always wanted to see it, and I just couldn't get
Yeah.
past a certain point in the film.
Yeah. And one of the other things that they pointed out too is, I'd never thought of it, for a movie that creeps you out so much, it's one of the best lit. Like, it's like every
for
room
real.
is bright. Like, it's like there's not like a lot of dark shadows or anything like that. It's
No,
just like,
no, it's
it's just
all
right in
the
front of you.
daytime. A lot of it's daytime too, except for when they are being chased out in the
Yeah.
snow and stuff.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
right. It kind of, the moment you said that, it kind of, to me, I remember as a kid, it felt like, Oh gosh, if I can. Now that you say that, like honest, it felt like now that you mention that, it's funny to say Crooksy, but it feels like the sunlight, like as the sun's setting or pouring into the hotel, like that kind of afternoon. Well, I know sometimes it was really brightly lit, like in the morning time. I'm just going off of what I remember, or then like afternoon sun, but how it would feel like on a Sunday when I would be cramming to get my homework done before Monday, like in elementary school. But Sundays have always, not now, but as a kid, always felt kind of blue, like
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
sad on a Sunday, but
You know what's coming next. That's Monday. No one
yeah,
wants
and
that.
that's Monday. But
Everybody
just that,
likes Friday.
you almost sounded scary when you said that, Jar. Everybody
Oh, I'm
likes
sorry.
Friday. I wasn't really articulating
French
it.
fried
that-
potatoes.
Well,
I wasn't
like
articulating it
it's
well.
almost that the uncomfortable, like, crap, like this day's blown kind of deal. But it's like it was like that all the time.
As a kid, though, like that feeling of the dread. Oh, son of a bitch!
It's still
Monday's
happening
here.
for people that have to go to work on Mondays. You know, like I have to wake up and I don't have to drive a wicked long distance, but I have to clock in and get yelled at for 9 hours and then clock out.
Is that one of the fact that
Yeah,
you
but that happens on the weekends too.
Is that one of the few, since you guys are so well versed with horror? Well, so Jar Crooksky's the one with the big horror film.
He's got look at the big brain on Kevin.
It's not a brain; it just fits up to him.
But
It's a
is
tumor.
it one of the only horror films where it is by daylight? Well, no, I mean Halloween's, but a lot of Halloween's.
Right.
I mean, I know there are kills that happen in Halloween that happen at night, but some of the scariest scenes in Halloween are where
It's definitely not as common. Like they don't even use like the shadows in the room. It's like like if you're in a hotel and all the lights are on, it's pretty bright in there, and that's how it was like most of the time. I mean, I'm sure there's other ones out there, but I never even realized it with this one because it is so creepy. Like it's just creepy because of where they are. Like, normally you would have it pitch dark and then something would jump out at you. That's how movies work now, right?
And also maybe just even though it was maybe daylight, it's just that hotel just was scary.
Yeah.
Looking.
To be honest with you, I would have been all over that. I don't know.
I would have liked the job at first, but then after being stuck there with just two other people for that long.
I was going to say, don't get me wrong. I don't want to do that for 6 months. I'm saying like I would spend a weekend there by myself. Like not even with anyone
else. By yourself, you could do it. Oh no.
Yeah.
I'd get a little bored. I'd have to.
Well, yeah, I would too. But I also I'm into the paranormal kind of stuff, so I would be checking that stuff out. So I'd bring all my toys. And go play.
No, I did. Okay,
you do ghost hunting, Kevin?
I was part of a team for.
I had
years.
no idea.
Yeah, I was part of a team for years.
No way.
See, I've never seen. Nar, have you ever had a paranormal experience? I myself have not.
I haven't. I would love to. I'm totally open to it.
Yeah, same here. I just never have.
No, I haven't.
I mean, for me, I would say paranormal in the sense of like, I can't really explain what just happened. Like, how is that real? How did that happen? We don't want to get into too much on this.
Yeah. No.
But I can tell you guys after we record. But
I made one note, and I'm blanking on his name, but it's connected to The Shining. So, Tony Moran, he did this past October. There's a young boy. I mean, he's only like he's not a boy, but he's 26 years old, and he built the house. And this is connected to The Shining, so I'll get there. He built Michael Myers' house to spec in North Carolina. And I can't remember, the town might be Cary, North Carolina, Cary. And I'm blanking. He's such a nice guy. But anyways, he hosted. Was it on? Either the day before Halloween or on Halloween, he hosted Tony. He invited, it was an event, and he invited people this 26-year-old who owns and lives in the house with his girlfriend, which is so so creepy. But he invited people to come and watch to enjoy the um, as an event to that when night fell to watch Halloween. And before the screening, Tony was there and he signed it, but he had his picture. He did a signing
Mhm.
for all the people there that were there to watch the film, and he doesn't let the owner doesn't let people into the house. They're allowed to take pictures, um, but Tony and I, we were allowed to go in to use
I
to use
hope
the
so.
restroom.
We're big
But
stars, damn
we're
it.
big stars. No, I just used the restroom, but the inside is built. Looks just like it does in the film too. Well, I mean,
Oh, really?
let me take that back. It's designed just like it is in the film, but then the owner has all of his film memorabilia, and so it's not the set pieces within the
Mhm.
house aren't there, but the stairwell, everything is the house. But then he has all of his cool memorabilia. But anyways, he does, and I'll have the information for next time. But he takes oh Lord. Well, okay, we'll use The Shining as an example. He takes a tour group. You sign up and pay, and he did a whole thing up at the hotel, the Shining Hotel, where they they all stayed for the weekend, and he screens the film, and he does that throughout the year with other films as well. I'm just blanking on the name of com- the name
Yeah,
of
that's
his
corporation or
company
whatever. Yeah.
corporation. But I thought doesn't that sound cool
Yeah, it
to
sounds
go to the
awesome.
actual hotel and have a weekend there, and you stay there, watch the movie. But yeah, he does these immersive experiences, and um, he's a really, really, really nice guy. So I'll have
That's
to,
pretty awesome. No, that's pretty
yeah,
great.
Yeah.
Would be
yeah.
I'd be down for that. There's actually the mental institution, the old rundown mental institution that they filmed Shutter Island at.
Oh, I
Is in,
remember
is
that.
in Mass, and they do screenings there as well of
They
Shutter Island.
do. I
Yeah,
haven't seen Shutter Island. I
it's
wanted to say
another
one.
Leonardo DiCaprio
It
joint.
is.
Yeah, yeah.
I wanted to say one more thing. He about the Halloween house. Well, he had the clothesline. He had the clothesline out there, but it was just so creepy because everything looked. I mean, it just is the house, and and it's in the woods, and um, uh, and we yeah, it just is. It's pretty phenomenal. It's yeah, it's some pretty. It
It's a
was cool to be there. Yeah,
yeah, it's a great thing for fans for sure.
yeah,
Oh, absolutely.
And he
and the
puts so much
town.
time and money into it too. You know.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
the town probably loves it as well.
well, no, they don't.
Oh,
They
no?
won't let him. Oh God, what did he tell us?
I
Oh, maybe
visited.
they won't let him. They limit the amount of people because I guess it's just a 2-lane road. They put a lot of limits on the. I don't. I keep calling him a boy. I know he's not 26 years old, but he's a young man. They put a lot of limits
This
on
boy
how
right
many
here.
people can, because there weren't a lot of people there. I mean, maybe 50 people. I think they've placed a lot of limitations on how many people can come out to the house, and not the owner, but the town
Yeah.
itself
Yeah.
uh, has. Um,
Well, they're probably worried about in case of fires or something like
Mm.
that, people trying to get out and
Right. Even if it's a 2-lane road, maybe
oh,
traffic or something like that.
right, you're right, right.
So what he
Um,
can do is tell him all you guys rent a room at this hotel. I'll charter a bus. We'll bring you all here, drop you off. We'll have a fun time of it. Then
Oh,
we'll take
yeah.
you back to the hotel.
Now I'm not tooting my own horn, but he offered me to come um, do a screening there, and that I could stay in the house.
Oh, nice.
With him and his girlfriend, not in the same bed.
Oh,
But
Well,
it's
damn,
so
I'm out
but
then.
it's so creepy.
Yeah,
But you all would love the inside of his house. He has so much film memorabilia. It's
that's cool.
insane.
It's not just of Halloween, it's like
No, it's like everything. I mean, the walls are covered with, I mean, yeah, not just Halloween, just tons and tons and tons of stuff.
Yeah.
But it would be, I would need, yeah, I would love to do. So I have to work out a date with him to
Yeah, figure that out.
do it.
That sounds
But when
really
he said you can stay with in the house, I was like, and I said, can I bring Tony? And he was like, well, yes, you can bring Tony, because I don't want to be in a room be in the room by myself there. But no, yeah, it was. But yes, that was what I wanted to tell you about The Shining. But
that's
for the next episode, I'll have his name.
cool.
And
Yeah, that'd be great.
Very cool.
yeah,
Check out all this stuff that he does, because maybe one of these days I'll
yeah,
go
yeah.
check it.
But yeah, definitely, I'll
Right.
bring you information.
So The Shining was a A+ for you, right?
Oh, yes, Jar
Good time to
Jar. And Jar Jar, refresh my memory. You're new to film. You and
A
I
lot
are
of horror. Yeah.
virgins.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get
I
Kevin to
was
pop our cherry.
I'm a very I'm a scaredy cat.
So you and I, when we have these assignments, you and I we're basically going into each film together
Oh, pretty much.
as the first.
Like,
the
I
first
think
scene.
I've seen The Shining once before as a kid, but
It's
I
different when you're a
don't
kid.
remember
It
it.
really is
Yeah.
different. It's not really a kid movie. So
No.
it's like it's one of those things that you definitely get more respect as you mature as a person, you know. But yeah.
The only last thing I know
Sure.
we have to end it.
Mhm.
But just how strong of a film The Shining is. I did a little, and again, I'm not bringing this up to toot my own horn, but I did a little independent film that's shot in Ohio, and I had to go up we're in 2023 already. In 2020, October, November 2022, and they put us up, just at a little hotel, and I get my room key, and it's a long carpeted hallway to the elevator, and every time, and it's wide, and I'm like, oh, it's it just feels like a corridor of The Shining. I've stayed there twice, but each time when I enter, I have to go down this hallway, and it just
Well,
reminds me of The Shining.
When
now
it's
that
they'll be like, come play with us now.
No, thank
Play
you.
with us forever and ever.
No, thank you. Well, since you brought it up, Nar, what was the name of the movie that you filmed?
Okay, and I truly wasn't bringing it up.
Oh no,
This is your jam.
But I just wanted to say that's why I think Stanley Kubrick's so great and Stephen King creating that hope that
world.
world, and then the hotel itself, and just how Stanley Kubrick shot it. And I actually hadn't even seen The Shining when I was. Oh wow. When I was there in that hotel, I hadn't seen The Shining, but that's just how much the few little scenes I'd seen before I watched it for real in January. That's how much it was in my conscious and subconscious.
Yeah.
So the name of that film that was shot in Ohio is called Girl 2, the number 2, and it has, I was telling Jar Jar, it has, it's me and the cheerleader from Scream, Leonora Shelfo, and Gigi Edgley, who Jar Jar's gonna. Or have you already met her yet?
No, I haven't met. I had the opportunity to meet her a couple of weekends ago, but I just never got around to it. But I'm actually interviewing her on this. Well, with this show, I'm interviewing her soon.
Okay, so we had just a small world. We had done Fayetteville Comic-Con with her in October 15th and 16th, and somehow some rando guy who ended up being kicked off the premises of the hotel where we were staying, who was a vendor at the convention. Somehow he had heard Leonora and me talking about going to Ohio to film Girl 2. And somehow he heard Gigi talking about it. And it just was funny to us. We all three had become friendly being at the convention. I mean, of course, Leonora and I were friends and knew we were going the next weekend to film Girl 2. And I had become was starting to become good friends with Gigi because we'd been picked up at the airport together, and she's just really lovely. So then, like the second day of the convention, we found out that Gigi was in the film as well, and then we were all up in Ohio a few days after the Fayetteville Comic-Con. But I just thought, what a small world. And but yeah, so that film, and it stars the woman who plays Girl. There was a first movie called Girl, just The Girl, and so this is the sequel called Girl 2. And the woman who plays the girl is really, her name's Lisa Neild Infante, but she long ago was a centerfold in the Playboy magazine, Playboy Bunny, and she's still really sexy and beautiful. But I was so excited. I met her at a little at a convention in Ohio, and the filmmaker who had run this convention is who hired me for his film. But yeah, it's set in a mental institution, and so that was the film with the hotel with the motel that reminded me of The Shining. But yeah, Girl 2 is the name of that film. And then I have a big part in Girl 2, and then I have another film. Girl 2 will probably come out in November. Then another film called The Only Ones that I play a big part in that'll come out the end of 2023. And then Leonora, the cheerleader, and I are in a film called The Woodmen.
Wow, you've got a lot of stuff
coming. I'm on call. I'm in demand. No,
I should have known all this beforehand so we could have really pushed these.
No, it's okay. I'll push them. I'll push them in the other episodes. No, not at all. But the Woodmen, one of the producers of the Woodmen, is one of the producers from the Terrifier.
Okay. Oh, nice.
But the Woodmen. They already sent. We just shot we have just a little scene. Me and Leonora play lovers, and it's just a quick little scene, but it's they've already edited it and sent us the scene, and we just did that in June. So that writer director's, I guess, was he's gonna it seems like churn that film out really quickly.
It's called The Woodsman?
The Woodmen. So Woodmen. And he had a great DP on that film. L.C. Holt is in it.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's been on the Wicked Horror Show a bunch of times.
He's so nice.
Wicked nice.
Talk about small world.
He was his one of his big things is he was in that movie You're Next with Barbara Crampton, and one of my favorite directors is actually a friend of his that they work together a bunch, and he's actually acting in that movie as well. His name is Ty West, one of my favorite directors of the last I don't know how many years. But yeah,
is it Ty Sheridan West? No,
I don't know.
Or am I? There is a Ty Sheridan. Oh no, there's an actor named Ty Sheridan. I don't know why when you said Ty West, that's what it was. So so say the name of the movie that L.C. Holt.
You're Next.
Oh, yes. People, I'm excited to see, because he was talking about it in some of the. L.C. Holt wasn't going around saying, "See my movie, You're Next," but they were talking about it. But he's such a nice
probably
guy.
Was.
No, he's involved in a lot of really cool stuff over the last 20 years. He's come on the show a bunch of times, and it's usually to promote something that he's got coming out, and it's almost everything that he's brought on is movies that I'm this is on my list of things that I want to see. And he's involved in a lot. So
we hung out.
He's a really good dude. I like
really nice. Yeah, really nice guy.
You got to start telling me, Kevin, every time something drops that you're like, Jar Jar, this is the horror movie you should be watching.
Okay, I will. You're gonna hate me. Sorry,
that's okay. I need these recommendations. I feel so when I go to cons, the horror cons, I'll be sitting there and people come up and they're sitting there talking about certain movies, and they're like, "So have you seen them?" And I'm like, "No."
No,
No.
that's true.
No,
That's
I watched
exactly how
Friday
I
the
feel.
13th once.
I haven't even seen Friday the 13th, as well as you know. Elsie Holt did what may have done the very first year of Tidewater with Billy Middlestat.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
no
It was
kidding.
either the first or second year because he and I were talking about how I had done it last year and Elsie had said he'd done it the year before, and that may have been the first year. I don't know,
Nice.
but yeah, we hung out talking like all night to the point, and he was so nice to talk to. I was falling asleep, and then I'd wake up, and I'd like, Elsie, did I just fall asleep? Because I was doing an all nighter because we were having Leonore and I plane were leaving kind of in the middle of the night. So, and he had just arrived, but it was making me laugh that we were talking a long time, and then I knew I was asleep, and then I would wake up and. But yeah, so he's in The Woodman, and then I have another movie called Little Red Rosie, that the that she's a doll, and like a doll,
An actual doll. Yeah.
like actual, like not like she's a doll. And Beatrice Buckley is going to be in that.
Oh, I know Beatrice.
And some good actors are in that. So yeah, that all of these films have come from just being in the convention scene, just starting
That's
just
fantastic that
because
you're
of the
getting
convention.
landed in all these.
So yeah, so I'm excited. So what's our next assignment,
Well, that's
Crooksy?
what we need to get into.
I want
We
to
have
be the
some
teacher's
options.
pet. Okay, I'm going to write it down. I'm getting
Now, me and Kevin were talking, me and Crooksy, and we'd really like to try out Evil Dead 2.
Okay, Evil Dead. Okay, I'm writing. When you
And
see
it's
me looking
part
down,
two.
it's because I'm writing it. Evil
Evil
Dead.
Dead 2. There's an Evil Dead 1, but Evil Dead 2 pretty much covers, for the most part, what happens in Evil Dead 1 within like the first quarter of the movie of
Okay,
Evil Dead 2. So you don't have to see Evil Dead 1 to see Evil Dead 2.
okay. And what's the reason that's our second movie?
It's a iconic. If you're ever at a convention where Bruce Campbell is, you'll notice the lines to Bruce
Are
Campbell's.
long.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a Bruce Campbell.
Sam Raimi, director Sam
Ooh.
Raimi. It was they started the whole Evil Dead thing while they were in college still. So it was
Ooh.
they had In the Woods was like a short, then it was Evil Dead, then Evil Dead 2, then Army of Darkness, then it
Yeah.
continued on, and it's still continuing on. There was a TV show, Ash versus Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Oh,
And-
my friend was a producer on that one.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
nice.
That sounded like a name. I hope for the viewing audience, if
That's
this
cool.
isn't edit, I love sharing fun things like that. Not for street
Right.
cred,
Oh,
but
no.
Yeah, it's like
Um,
one of those things where you're proud to hey, my friend worked on that.
Oh,
I'm glad to
I've never
It's like
seen
me
the
and
show.
Kevin. It's like me and Kevin were talking. Every time see a movie with like Tony Todd in it, I'm like, I've hung out with him.
Yeah.
No,
I
I
saw
know.
him. I know him.
I know him.
like this. We're that far apart.
Yep, this far apart.
Some people are like this. We're not like that.
He would not even recognize me if I was in the same room.
Well,
So Evil Dead 2, and then
yes.
because this can go now, because this show can go forever, because I haven't seen
Oh,
any of the
absolutely.
Friday the 13th, haven't seen any of the Nightmares, haven't
Oh,
seen
we've got.
Guys.
I think we have both of those on the list.
The
at least
world
the
is
first.
this show will run forever.
Yeah, we're trying to think of some that are even more current as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, cool.
Oh, no,
Scream
I'm
definitely
cool.
will make the list at some point as well, because
I've never seen Scream.
Exactly. We'll be educating
Sorry?
Kevin.
You're not frozen, right?
Oh my god. She scared me for a second. I was
I-
like, oh no, we broke Nar.
That being said, I
We
do
broke
own.
our-
I do
Wait,
own
I'm
all of
so
them.
fascinated. It's not. I'm joking.
I
What
actually
makes you-
rewatched it a few weeks ago because my one of my kids was really interested in seeing it, and your scene came up, and I was like, "That's Nar. I know
That's
her.
fair.
I've been in the same room as her. She would recognize me.
Did you tell you it was your daughter?
Yeah.
Did your daughter think you were cool, or were you like,
No.
she's only the girl in bathroom?
Dude in the background.
She didn't. She wants to know who plays
Sydney.
No. The face, the
Face.
ghost face.
Oh, she wants to know who's
Yeah,
wearing the
because
costume?
she knows that there's more movies. She's like,
Yes.
well, is it the same person that plays Ghostface in every one? And I'm like, no, you got to watch them all.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah.
Yeah, but I told her, I was like, you two are the only two that are still alive. I'm like,
Right. That's right. Crooksy, I was only joking when I said you haven't seen it. I'm a tiny little part, but I'm so curious. You just hadn't seen it.
Well, when it came out, I was a bit of a snob. And it was like, I don't want these big celebrities in my horror movies. I'm like, whatever. It's just a Hollywood, cash grab. Meanwhile, how many movies have come out from the same franchise?
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, just the cash grab over for even the last couple of years. But I just never got around to it.
Yeah.
I own them all. So
are you going to watch
kidding?
the first? Well, are you? Please don't. But please, if you start watching them, please watch the first one first.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I'm that guy. I'm the guy that even with episodic television shows that I don't need to watch in order, I still watch them in order.
Okay, good.
Because I'm like, I want to experience it the way that was supposed to be experienced. So I'm going to do it in the order. So yeah.
I think the first is the best anyways. I even told the kid that. They were like, oh, we should watch 2. I'm like,
should we
okay,
though?
we can.
I haven't seen 3 and 4, and I haven't seen 6.
No, I stopped after 2 myself.
There's some franchises I wished I did that on as well. But yeah, so Evil Dead 2 for next time.
Evil Dead 2. Okay.
It's one of my all-time favorite movies as well, as far as a horror movie. I wouldn't go on my list of like best movies of all time, but as far as like horror movies, it's up there. I have a lot of collectible and memorabilia stuff.
So if we don't like this, Nar, we know who to. You can just be like, Crooksy, you sent us on the wrong path.
No, just blame all the people that are waiting in line to meet Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
We see him at a con. Literally, the first time I met him, or second time I met him, it was around the building. So,
Jesus
Christ! No way.
Yeah. He's a hilarious dude too. If you ever get a chance to meet him, he's very funny. But I'm looking forward to your thoughts on Evil Dead 2.
Evil Dead 2. And okay, I did want. Well, okay, I'm saying one more thing. I did watch David Naughton. Wait. I haven't done a convention with David Naughton, but I went with Tony to Frightmare in the Falls, where David Naughton was at a convention. He was in American Werewolf in London. Did you? Cool. And I watched it with Tony. I never had seen it.
American Werewolf in London is really good.
Yeah, the whole that transformation thing.
Yeah.
I have like double jointed, and I'm like, oh, what else?
Did you like his performance? He's a really nice guy in real life. Yeah. Did you like his performance?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know where else he was in? You know what else he was in? I don't know if he brought it up.
I YouTubed. He was on a Dr. Pepper. I don't know.
I'm a Pepper.
Dr. Pepper commercial. I YouTubed it. Yeah. I didn't know he was in it, and so then I was like, "Oh, we've got to YouTube it," and it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's great, and it's totally him. And
he started in theater, which I always love my acting.
100%. Like I sometimes you can tell, and I think it's a good thing when they start in theater, because there's some people that have never done theater ever, and it's just like that's a pretty big hurdle to jump over. Like I think it would improve people's acting maybe, if because there's some that are just not. They're terrified of it, just like I would be. It's the reason I'm not an actor. Anyways, so now, we got to wrap things up. So, where do you want your fans to follow you? Like, where can people go check out your stuff?
Okay.
And cons that you have coming up, if you have any.
Oh, and yes. Okay. I've got my book. Okay. So I keep forgetting one of the days. Okay. So my next convention. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So where they can find me on social media.
Yes, absolutely.
On social media is just my name, Nancy Ann Ritter. Yeah, and
And
my
is that
name,
through Instagram, Facebook,
it,
and everything?
well, my only social media, is Instagram and Facebook. My name is,
Same
I
here.
have a TikTok, but I don't know how to TikTok
Yeah.
on TikTok. So my next convention is September 16th and 17th, PA HorrorCon. So
Oh, nice.
for PA for Pennsylvania. So PA HorrorCon.
Oh, I thought it was just Pa. You're going to Pa. Pa.
And it's just a convention of nothing but fathers.
They're just walking around telling dad jokes
Yeah,
the
it's
whole
really
time.
horrible dad joke. Yeah.
Okay, that was hilarious. And then there may be one on September 23rd called Main Street Comic Con.
Ooh.
A one-day one, but that's a possibility. But then my next for sure one is October 27th, October 28th, and October 29th. And that's a new convention called Atomic Monster Weekend in Mesa, Arizona. And
that sounds
the
fun.
the promoter who's running it, which was one reason I was late today, was I know I'm making excuses, but his name is Neil Pignani, Pignani, and he goes by Doc, which is, since we were talking about The Shining.
Yeah, there you go.
But anyways, his company's called Gorgon Entertainment, and then this is his first year of doing this convention. And even though it's its first year, he's got Dee Wallace coming, Michael Berryman, Robert Mukes, and some other notables.
Nancy Ann Ritter.
And then he's got Nancy Ann Ritter.
Have you met Robert Mukes before?
No. Tony says he's super, super nice.
Oh my God, he is so nice. He is gigantic.
And gigantic.
Oh my God, he's like a professional wrestler. He's so huge. Like he's like towers above me, and he's such a nice guy. He's got like awesome daughters that he's all about his daughters, and like, you know, he's a really good dude. I'm happy that things are going like good for him, you know, because he went a while without working, and like he's now I keep seeing his name pop up, so I'm psyched for him.
Good. Yeah,
he's a great dude.
So Tony Moran is doing it as well, Atomic Monster Weekend, and Leonora Shelfo, the cheerleader, with me. But I was amazed. I said to Tony, I said, it's a first year convention. I said, it's amazing that Neil is the promoter's an amazing guy, a really nice guy, but such an amazing lineup for a first year show. I thought was really cool. So, and he's got a lot, and you can go to that one, Atomic Monster Weekend, and you can go. It's already got its website, but on Instagram you can see he's got some really cool advertising going already for it. And then, and then that one's in Mesa, Arizona, and then Akron Comic Con, AKRON for Akron, Ohio, and that's November 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And I believe the movie Girl 2 that I talked about earlier with Gigi Edgley and me and Leonora, I think they're trying to time the premiere of that with this convention, or the release with that convention, because the Travis Bowen, the writer director of Girl 2, this is one of his conventions, so I think that's why that's happening. And then after that is Cult Classic in Austin, Texas, Bastrop, Texas, March 1, March 1st, March 2nd, March 3rd. And the owners of Cult Classic, they own, I haven't seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I know that'll be in our list eventually.
That's going to be on the list because it's one of my all-time favorite movies.
They own the gas station that's in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So if you Google, they run Cult Classic, and then they also do events called the Gas Station, where they'll host like one actor. Like I think one year they had Danielle Harris, and it's just that one actor. I think that's how they do that for the Gas Station Con that they do. And then Cult Classic is another convention, and it's a husband and wife that own that gas station. But anyways, so far that's what we have on the schedule, the Bathroom Girls, and then I'm just hustling. I'm I'm sleeping with every Tom, Dick, and Harry, and Julie and Julia, so that I can. So just hustling,
I
trying to
hope
get.
they're
as many-
watching too. Damn it!
I
Yeah.
hope they are too. But to fill the schedule with conventions, there's some people have been really, some nice people I met doing chiller, like other nice people in the convention world are saying, oh, call so and there's some conventions in Long Island. So I've been given contact names of promoters to call and just see would they ever like to have the bathroom girls.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
And we work with different, sometimes the convention will come straight to me and Leonora to hire us. And then we also work with different reps for bookings. And then I got to do my first store signing at a comic book store this past December. That was just me and 2 other actors, and that was really fun. And I've done a couple of private signings, and so yeah, just trying to fill the schedule. But yeah, so far those the ones I just gave you.
Sounding very busy though. Between you got 4 movies, Girl 2, The Only Ones, The Woodman, and Little Red Rosie, and like I think you named 6 conventions in there. So like, good Lord, woman, when do you sleep?
Good to be busy.
Oh, well, and I do need to say there's one more film that did have a release called that I want to make sure I is called One of One. So the number 1 ONE of 1, and those were some nice. I have a fun little part in that. And that was a husband and wife filmmaking team, and they had a little premiere of that at one of the Alamo. Do they have Alamo Draft House up?
I wish.
Guys?
Yeah, no.
I wish.
So they had a little premiere of it at an Alamo Draft House down here in Virginia. So that was fun.
Nice.
But yes, and then I will be doing a lot of adult entertainment, and I'll keep you.
Huh?
I keep no. I keep joking with Tony. I'm like, let's do an OnlyFans.
Oh man.
Michael Myers munching out the girl in bath.
Jesus Christ.
No, Michael Myers eating out the girl in bath. I'm having to whisper because the parents are upstairs.
Yeah.
I love talking dirty, but I keep telling Tony that all your fangirls would love it.
Oh yeah.
Because he has so many fangirls, so many. So yeah, this was so fun.
That's pretty fantastic. No, we are. Yeah, that's a wrap. Actually, let's call it. Kevin,
Yes.
Where are you gonna have people follow you?
Just a knuckle on Instagram, and besides doing the Wicked Horror Show, which is where this show is going to live,
You broadcast
audio and video. It'll. I'm also part of Black and White Fright and That Strange Show. So yeah, I'm available in all those areas wherever podcasts are found. And Jeremy,
for myself, just you can check me out on Facebook, Jeremy Courtney, and all the other shows. Not too important right now. This is the one. This right here, the re-education of Nancy Ann Ritter, right here.
trying to make me feel bad for plugging my stuff, aren't you?
Oh no, not at all.
No, we wanted
Motherfucker, this show.
We wanted you to plug your stuff and then plug my hole later.
Yes,
Whoa,
that
I'm
comes
right.
after the show, and that's why we're ending the show now, folks, because she needs her holes plugged.
That's all right. Bye, everyone.
But check us out for the next episode where we watch and tear apart Evil Dead 2.
Word.
Red rum.